Hotep, Black Power, giving honor to the Creator, giving honor to the ancestors, and also giving honor to my sister, Chief of Staff, Brother Harris Abdul of our Street Law Soldiers, my father, my in-laws, and all of the ancestors, as well as you all that are fighting for the liberation and salvation of our black nation. I told you I was going to come back, but I really didn't want to say too much in terms of, in terms of, particular topics or anything like that. Just sometimes just chopping it up and just building with one another can be a major impact towards our personal growth and development. Because you don't always have to have a topic. You don't, not necessarily, and just, communicating, which I don't see a lot of that, on social media. Somebody basically waits until they have this grand subject to talk about where they think nobody else doesn't have, and they be the first ones to share for the purpose of creating thousands and thousands of hits, which you all know I'm not into the hits. I'm into just building, hoping that my information can somehow help someone, especially those that are in ciphers and certain topics and subjects may come up and you may have learned something from me that could qualify you to engage, in any building sessions in that cipher. That's just one of the, benefits of, having knowledge. But I want to show you all something in terms of, meditating and connecting with your ancestors or praying, whatever the case may be. Just give me a second. Okay, when a lot of people are having their altars and they're doing, you're not able to see my altar from here. And I usually try to keep my altar on private, because that's something that it's sacred to me and near and dear to my heart. Excuse me. So one of the things that I've learned from a brother, one of my brothers, was that moss paper, which is actually Chinese money, and it's real Chinese money, but it's just I believe thousands of years old, and it's not in circulation no more, but at one time this was currency. This was Chinese currency, but it's called moss paper. You can pick it up at any you can pick it up at any, because everybody has a Chinatown in their neighborhood, so in the hood. So at your nearest Chinatown or Chinese novelty store or whatever, where they sell raw ginseng and all that type of stuff, where they have ducks and shit in the window, you can purchase your moss paper. And what you do, you just take a few sheets, and you burn it, for energy and strength, just like you would do an incense or something of that nature. And in China, what they do once a year, everyone, the billions of people in China, everyone, I believe it's a law where they have to burn this moss paper at the same time. Now just imagine, 10 billion or 40 billion people burning moss paper at the same time. And the cloud is so intense that the entire country turns dark from the smoke of the moss paper. And That represents, that's symbolic to the energy of their ancestors and the strength and power of their ancestors. And we've been taught by being broken in and forced to practice traditional Christianity, which was forced on us for the only purpose to control us, as slaves in this colony called the United States of America. And so, by hundreds and hundreds of years of us practicing that and not being allowed to practice our traditional African spirituality, our rituals, and having altars and things of that nature and connecting with our deities, our ancestors were punished, lashed, whipped, and mostly killed for being caught with African spiritual materials, or praying and calling on the African deities for help and returning back home. Although we were here too, we were here as well. So it's no such thing as the Native Americans. Those so-called Indians that you see on the reservations, those are predominantly Europeans, because they look European. They don't look African. Some of them may have semi-broad noses, and some may have a larger, higher cheekbones and larger lips than some Europeans. But overall, they're not the original Native Americans. The original Native Americans, the original Cherokee, the Sioux, the Seminole, the Kankakee, the Yamasee. Those brothers and sisters were jet black. Black as 4 midnights. So, we need to be clear on that. And nevertheless, when the Japanese, when they burn their moss paper and connect with their deities and their ancestors, that's why they have the power that they have. They're so strong and have excelled in mathematics. So and in turn they're able to advance more than other races in the technology and the inventions of computers and creating new software, each and every day. And we're behind because we're the only race of people that does not have the connection with their ancestors. And we don't have our true spiritual connection. And so what we've done, we have made this Eurocentric version of the scriptures of the Bible and made those our African spiritual principles. Because you'll hear a lot of people say, that the Bible, everybody in the Bible was black and all that. You can paint it any color that you want. However, based on folklore, because it's African folklore, and I don't want to go into that because a lot of you all are not there, because a lot of you all still believe in the mythology. And even in the Bible it says allegory. Allegory means it's just a story. And if anybody with common sense would come to an understanding, if you're not spooked out and trying to trick yourself into believing something that's not true. About Noah and who putting 2 of every animal on the boat, and Jonah going into a whale's mouth, in the middle of the sea, and all this type of stuff, and walking on water, and all this, all of these, stories, incredible stories that are inspirational into making you want to, you know, be a part of that particular, you know, dogma. So, you know, it's real easy to figure out. That's just like if you walk in a room and you see someone urinating on the floor. You see them urinating on the floor, but you've been told in a book that he's not urinating. So you'll say that he's urinating air. That's not urine coming out of his penis. That's just air. Because this is what the book says. Not reality, mythology. You know. And so, you know, we need to come to a clear understanding of actually, you know, who we are, where we belong, and so we can be better people. Because the reason why we hate one another, the reason why we're so in a disarray, and the reason why it appears that we have lost our way, lost our minds, you know, not practicing any of our spiritual principles, is based on the fact that we don't know our principles. We don't know what our principles are. Everyone else does. And everyone else practices their particular dogma. And in turn, they have more unity. They prosper more. They're economically strong. You know, and they're moving. You know, they're moving. And prosperity is the key agenda. Whereas, you know, the blacks, you know, every man for himself. We hate each other. We shoot each other every night. We call each other niggas and bitches and hoes. But yet, when the slave master comes through, we still give the slave master respect, such as any white authority figures, or any white people, period. You know, and white privilege is at the top of the agenda in everyday living in this country. You know, if you don't believe me, try walking in front of a white bitch, a white woman, and open the door and go into a building. She's going to expect you to hold the door for her. That's white privilege. And most black people do that. But if it's a black person behind, then that's a you know, every man for himself. And that's how we function on a daily basis. We function like that daily. You know, we watch each other be murdered. You know, once again, and I want to go back to that movie where the white boy holds the little children up hostage in the school, and the black woman is crying and feeling sorry for the white boy who came in there with the intentions on possibly killing these babies, and she's in there crying for him. She doesn't say anything about the children, and she goes around the country today, you know, praying, you know, for this white boy, you know, and shedding tears for him. Now, if that guy was black, she would have fought him from the time he came into the door. It wouldn't have been no shedding tears. You would just heard screaming, and he probably would have to kill, murder that woman. You know, based on how enraged she would have been for somebody to look like her, confront her with the same demands as that white boy had. You know. And I want to quickly go through this thing about this David Beckham, you know, retired superstar soccer player who wants to build a soccer stadium in a town in Miami, an all-black town called Overtown, which was developed in 1896. which has so much history to it. So much history. And, you know, they don't have the support, and they want to displace the residents in that area, which are all black, displace them, you know, evict them, put them on the street so they could build a hockey stadium, you know, so the Latinos and the Nicaraguans and the Iranians and, you know, the Ethiopians can play soccer. You know, but at the same time, this town, this black town with so much history, you know, that's over 110 years old, you know, will just be a memory. With the assistance of politicians, black clergy. Because we don't have a lot of politicians, black politicians that are standing in our corner. And down there, the black clergy and black politicians, all they're worrying about is getting their pockets filled. They're not concerned with the livelihood and welfare of the people that they left behind. Because that's how it is with blacks. You know, that when they get their degrees and they graduate and get their degrees and get prestigious jobs, rarely do they be entrepreneurs. Prestigious jobs, being, in other words, being a high price slave, and then you move out of the hood, and then you forget all about the people that you left, as well as forget about what you went through while you were there. And that's how our brothers, that's how our black politicians and our black clergy, that's where they're at. Especially in D.C. Washington, D.C. is famous for that. You know, the only black people that I know personally that are fighting for liberation, that are stand up, you know, die hard revolutionaries are these non-profit organizations. Ceasefire with Al Malik Farrakhan, you know, and Street Law Soldiers, Shaka Sankofa, and other organizations. Heat on the Street, Brother Raheem Muhammad. But yet you have the clergy. None of these churches, you don't see none of these pastors on the corner, you know, advocating for clean streets. Get the rodents, kill all the rodents off the streets. Get the alleys cleaned up. You know, all they're worrying about is how much are they going to make Sunday. And then a lot of them don't even have their doors open to perform homegoing services for people in the neighborhood. They have to be a tie-paying member for years in order to have those services provided for them, no matter what the age is. And you have no one fighting for us that's in our corner. No politicians. You know, Eleanor Holmes Norton. I call her Eleanor Holmes Snorton because of her cocaine habit. At first, she was, you know, a diehard roughneck sister, you know, but now she's, you know, she's gotten caught up in the world of lesbianism, and it's a wrap, you know. She just wants to ride off in the sunset, you know, with a young girl and live happily ever after. You know, just like most of these pastors, because the gay parishioners as well as the gay pastorship is high in Washington, D.C. You know, primarily with a Catholic university, you know, about 2 miles from the Capitol and the White House, which, the homosexuality among the bishops, the cardinals, and archbishops run rampant on those young boys in the cathedral up there. So we have to understand and be clear about what it is we need to do so we can move to the next level. And I'm just rambling, throwing certain ideas out for you to grasp onto, and you can build on particular topics yourself. But this is what's going on. This is what's going on. And once again, the raping and the violating, sexual violation of our children is beyond sickening. I saw a photo of a little child. I guess she was about in the second grade. Her face had holes in it from either being bit up or something, or hit with a hammer or something from her teacher. And I saw no photo of the teacher and didn't even state whether she was arrested or not. But as a result, once again, of us being spiritually misled and misguided and being under social control, we have lost our way. If we can connect to our gods and deities, ours, we would gradually make progress, and by the next 10 years, we would have come up to the level where we be competitive and can stand shoulder to shoulder in all areas with all other races. But as long as we're following these doctrines, the Yusuf Ali Quran, where you see these white Arabs marrying, 60 years old, marrying a 7-year-old girl, saying that that's his wife, and because Islam has a lot of faults too. The only difference that makes it a step up from Christianity is the structure that it has and the no tolerance policy that the surahs speak on in terms of homosexuality. But now they have opened the doors up in a lot of areas. The Nation of Islam has gays. And now it's come as you are, as long as you have bread. Because most homosexual men have money, and based on by them being homosexuals, they are not a threat to the white man's company or his corporation. He'll laugh at the nigger jokes at happy hour at the bar. And then when they do perform rituals, he's a prime candidate, and he'll go, head first into any type of sexual ritual that this devil may lay out or present to him. But someone, heterosexual male, that's strong, is a threat to the corporation. That's how they look at it. You can't trust him. All these red flags come up for a real man. So they had to come up with a plan to keep us out, to keep the heterosexual strong males out of the government and out of the workforce. And even, in most cases, the private sector. And so what they do, they, get you to commit a felony. And they take some misdemeanors, and make them felonies so it can trap you. And what they do, they threaten you with jail time if you're in trouble. They threaten you with a whole bunch of jail time to the point where you don't know the law. If you don't know the law, you want to go home, so you go ahead and plead guilty. which is a conviction. And it automatically closes the door for you. And so, and that leads to drug dealing and criminal behavior and the likes, because some men are going to take care of their families and not going to see their babies hungry regardless. Because if you go to that white man's Bible and pray in the scriptures for a sandwich, see how long it would take for a sandwich to pop up on top of that Bible to feed your baby. So, it's just a matter of we have to have clarity on a lot of things. So, because, because we're behind. Economically, we're at the bottom of the barrel. We're at the scrapings. We're the burnt scrapings of the bottom of the pot in everything. And all they use us for is entertainment, sports, sex, music, labor, and we're satisfied with that. And they tell those who they reward with trinkets and money, don't go back to the hood, don't break bread with anybody back in the hood. You're better than that now. You don't even need to go back there. And so, the billions and billions of dollars that athletes and entertainers make, they spend it. They give it right back to the Europeans. Give it right back to them. Because the money he give you, you buy a house from him. You give it right back to buy one of his houses, 3 or 4 of his cars, one of his women. Because you forgot all about the sister. So you buy one of his women. You buy his clothes, all his homosexual outfits. You purchase them. Whatever he tells you to wear, you wear. Russell Westbrook. They have him dressing like a straight queen. And I'm quite sure that brother is a heterosexual male. But based on how they look at him as and have him dressed up, with women's sleeveless shirts and silk blouses and tight red stretch pants and activating the top of your head, 2-3 earrings in your ear, nipples pierced, and some of you got your your dick heads, the heads of your dicks pierced, because you're not using it. You're no longer using it, and we have to wake up, and it's good to be entertained, it's good for entertainment, it's good to laugh, I would love to go I love to go to the movies, I would love to go to a concert and, see somebody that's real, Cat Williams, somebody like that, just enjoy myself, have a good laugh. Cause Hotep, everybody, Hotep, and all the bitches are coming, and that's I love laughing, I love that type of stuff, Cat Williams is funny, that's my man, I try to talk like him because he has a wild voice, he talks like he has a cold, And Hotep, everybody, Hotep and Black Power. But nevertheless, brothers and sisters, we have a lot of work to do, and we don't have a lot of time. But one thing I'm gonna challenge you on: see if you can not talk about somebody, not gossip, not slander, not put somebody down, not hate on somebody. Because this so-called conscious community, the agents have been called out. It's still several more, still several more, but a lot of them were called out, by giving themselves away, by just popping out of the woodwork, and a lot of them been called out, and there's still several more, but the conscious community in the late 90s, early 2000s, was headed for greatness, was headed for supreme greatness. Dr. Khaled, we were, conscious community was strong, and you see what happened. In closing, I want to give a shout out to brother Rough Mike from the group Precise Science. I wish you well, brother. I've been trying to reach you, and I want to send you a photo, of myself, brother Harris Abdul. May he rest in power, and you're a freedom writer. At a Ray Hagen's event. And once I talk to your people, I'll be able to send it to you. But until we meet again, brothers and sisters, stay strong, be yourself, And next time we talk, we're going to talk about that gentleman behind you, Tupac Shakur, one of my favorites. I am a Tupac fan. So until we meet again, brothers and sisters, Hotep and Black Power.